Long, long ago in ancient Ireland, during the early times of the reign of King Kionco Bar, the then king of the province of Ulster, his royal storyteller Phelim had a daughter who he named Deirdre. When Deirdre was still a baby, Phelim took her to visit the local druids to have her fortunes told. The druids looked to the stars, and then backed down and looked sadly at the baby girl. "What do you see?" asked Phelim, and they answered, "This child will cause great trouble for Ulster. She will grow up to be the most beautiful woman in the province, but she will also cause the deaths of many of our men." When the soldiers of the king's army, the Red Branch Knights, heard of this prophecy, they urged the king to have the baby girl killed in order to prevent the future bloodshed the druids had foretold. But the king was reluctant to kill an infant, and was also curious of the child's prophesied adult beauty, and instead came up with a plan and said, "Deirdre shall be raised far away from here, and when she is old enough, I will make her my bride." The Red Branch Knights agreed to this, and King Kionco Bar sent Deirdre deep into the forest to stay with a wise old woman called Leircrum, who would raise, care for, and teach the child. As the years passed by, Deirdre became as beautiful as the druids had foretold. However, she was also a very lonely girl. One day, Deirdre came to Leircrum and told her that every night for the past month she had had the same dream. She dreamt of a man who she described as tall, handsome, with raven black hair. His skin was as white as snow, and he was fearless in battle. Leircrum recognized from this description Naoise, one of the sons of Uisneach, who was also a member of the Red Branch Knights. She said to Deirdre, "The man you speak of is Naoise, one of the 3 sons of Uisneach, but you must never mention your dream to any soul ever again, for you are soon to be married to King Kionco Bar." Deirdre begged Leircrum to arrange a meeting between herself and Naoise, so that she might meet the man of her dreams. At first, Leircrum refused, but seeing how unhappy Deirdre was, she soon gave in to the request. Deirdre and Naoise met, and they fell in love at once. "I cannot marry Kionco Bar now," Deirdre said. "We must flee Ulster straight away." They set off and travelled all over Ireland, accompanied by Naoise's 2 loyal brothers, but no one would help them, for they all feared the wrath of King Kionco Bar. Finally, they set sail and settled on an island between Ireland and Scotland. Kionco Bar was furious. He had been left humiliated by his bride-to-be and betrayed by 3 of his own knights. Deirdre, Naoise and his brothers would live happily for a while in their time on the island, but before long, Kionco Bar had tracked them down. He sent Fergus, who was a good friend of Naoise's, to the island to offer them an invitation to return, and safe passage on arrival, and that they would be forgiven. Fergus had the king's word that his promise would be true, or else he would not have come to invite them back from the island to Ireland. It was because of Naoise's friendship with Fergus that the brothers of Uisneach, who had longed to return to Ireland, agreed and accepted the invitation, and set off to make the journey homeward. Though Deirdre was wary and tried to make them turn back, Naoise promised all would be well, as he trusted his good friend Fergus. However, Kionco Bar had other plans in mind, and when Fergus arrived back on Ireland with Deirdre and the sons of Uisneach, he was forced to part ways with them. The king had sent someone to separate Fergus from the group, by inviting him to a feast. Fergus could not refuse such an invitation, due to a personal geisha, a type of curse which had been placed upon him. Not sensing any danger, the sons of Uisneach continued on, but were later ambushed by the king's men. Naoise and his brothers fought valiantly, but against ever-increasing odds, they were soon disarmed and captured and brought before the king. Kioncobar then asked, "Who among you shall kill these traitors for me?" But none of his knights would step forward, for though the sons of Uisneach had deserted them, they still considered the trio fellow knights of the Red Branch. It was then a man stepped forward, Owen, a former enemy of the king, and he offered to kill the three brothers, so that he may make peace with Kioncobar. The king agreed, and Owen drew his sword and beheaded all the three sons of Uisneach. Deirdre was left heartbroken. She was taken to Kioncobar, but she had nothing but hatred in her eyes for him. He asked her, "Is there any man you hate more than me?" And she replied, "Owen, the man who killed my beloved Naoise." And so Kioncobar offered Deirdre to Owen to keep as a slave. To prevent her escape, he tied her hands and placed her in his chariot. But not long into his journey homeward, Deirdre managed to throw herself from the chariot and smashed her head against a rock on the roadside and was killed. In some versions of the story, she is also said to just simply die of grief and a broken heart. When the news of the ambush reached Fergus, he was furious that the king had used his honour to betray his word, and the whole event caused a split amongst the Red Branch. Fergus and many other Red Branch knights would then leave their service to Kioncobar and join the armies of Queen Maeve of Connacht, with whom they would later wage many battles against their former comrades. And so, Deirdre did indeed bring great trouble and bloodshed to Ulster, just as the Druids had foretold. As for Deirdre and Naoise's final resting place, it is said they were both buried close to each other in the same graveyard, and that, from Deirdre's grave a pine tree would grow, and from Naoise's grave grew another. The two trees would meet and become so intertwined that nothing could ever part them again.